repeat it. To exemplify this, let's take riff number 1 from my last video, 6 easy blues riffs. And if you haven't checked out that video yet, you probably want to check that out. So we're going to take riff number 1 and we're just going to repeat it. One cool thing about repeating a riff without stopping it is that it will usually change where in the bar you're starting it. Let's repeat the riff this time using the 2 variations that I showed in the last lesson. Exercise 2. It's your turn. Reverse it. When it comes to reversing it, I find that it's easier to write it out, because if I'm trying to think in my brain, okay, what is the opposite of that riff? It's kind of like, But if I can just look at the number, look at the tabs, okay, 4, 4, 3, 2, just write that backwards, 2, 3, 4, 4, or whatever it is. That's very simple to do. So this riff backwards sounds like... For fun, I wrote out the 2 variations too, and I thought they sounded good together like this. Exercise number 3, add dynamics. Dynamics just means playing something louder or softer, and it's a huge secret to unlock emotional impact in your piece. In addition to playing each riff loudly or quietly, you can vary individual notes to be quiet or loud within the riff. Or you could gradually get louder, what we call a crescendo. Check out this crescendo. Exercise number 4. We can make it longer. We've already looked at how you can make riffs a bit longer by just repeating a note in them, but we can also make riffs longer by adding notes to them. And this is where knowing a scale like the almost blues scale will help a lot. Here's a couple examples of making this riff longer. We're halfway through these exercises. Congratulations. I mentioned this in my last video when we were talking about riff number 3. How we could take just the first 3 notes of that, right? We'd shorten it and just take the first 3 notes. And that's something we could play all the way through a whole solo, just like Sonny Boy Williamson does here. But to illustrate that we can do that with any of these riffs, let's take riff number 5 as another example. This riff has 8 notes in it. Let's just take the first 5 notes and repeat that and see what we get. Play with the phrasing. Phrasing is an important concept in music, and while it can refer to making changes in tone or dynamics, it usually refers to changing the rhythm of a sequence of notes. Let's take riff number 4, for example. We played that with every note on the downbeat except for the last note, which we anticipated, like this. Ready, go. Let's play with the phrasing a little bit. Let's play the first 2 notes more quickly and then the rest of the notes on the upbeat. Ready, go. And so that changes the vibe of the riff. Or we could play the first 2 notes really long and then kind of rush the ending like this. Ready, go. Exercise 7. Okay, so this is our last exercise for building our blues muscle. It's also phrasing. Exercise 6, we looked at the phrasing within a riff, which is kind of like on a micro level. Now we're going to back up and look at more of a macro level 4-bar phrase. Which bar in that phrase? Which beat in that bar? This is kind of the macro level of phrasing, and this is why it's cool to take a riff and play it throughout the whole form, because we can hear, oh, where does this riff sound cool? Let's take riff number 2, for example, which in the last lesson we played at the beginning of the second 4-bar phrase in the 12-bar blues. Let's remember what it sounds like there. But check out how it builds tension when we play it at the beginning of the first 4-bar phrase, and I'll even repeat it. In that context, it's kind of begging for us to resolve it. Maybe something like this. bar blues form. You ready to rock? Leaving space. Again, leaving space. Congratulations.